state of whānau. Thank you so much for joining me again today here at Cocoon, here in Timaru, New Zealand. We're doing If in Doubt, Wear Red, where I'm going to talk about all things in the red family within Joico, and I'm going to demonstrate a technique I like to call the fiery piebald. So that's pretty creative. If anybody joined last time for Colour Me Natural, it was all about natural. Today, it's all about creative. So I just want to introduce you to some of the reds that we've got here. Jess is going to pan through. We're really lucky with Joico. Joico has such good technology. They provide wonderful colours with really good longevity. Lots of brights in there, lots of options. So we've got demi-permanents, we've got demi-dimensional deposits, we've got permanents, and we've even got with little chrome again, another type of demi. Okay, so when we're choosing reds for people, lots of people want to go red. So what is red? Your client will have their own idea of red. You will have an idea of red because what we know as red is red. What they think is red sometimes is a copper gold. So going to your colour chart and getting out your swatches, showing the client what are the options. For your client might consider a 6NC as red, where another client will be 7CC. So what I like to do is I like to look at Pinterest pictures, Google pictures, see what their ideas are, and then work out what their lifestyle's like, their personality, what kind of things do they wear, what colours do they wear in their makeup, especially makeup. So if your client has come in and they're not wearing foundation, it's really important to ask them what colour foundation they wear. Is it a pink base? Is it yellow base? Because if you go and colour match and you're like, oh wow, that looks really, really good, and then they go home and they put their makeup on and it's contrasting and it doesn't work, they're going to have to go and change their foundation because they'll probably want to keep their hair. And you'll find a lot of clients in the past, they've gone from a natural colour to a really bright colour, and they're like, I had to change my whole wardrobe. That's completely fine as well. It gives them an opportunity to explore new styles and new colours and things like that. So I get the colour chart out and I always run the colours, the swatches along my client's face, and I say to them, you know, what can you see in there? Can you see more orange? Can you see red? Can you see red violet? And the real trick with being redhead myself, natural, yes,
very natural.
A lot of people want my colour. They love, I love your colour, but they don't understand that I'm neon orange. I am as orange as possible. I am not natural copper. So quite often I'll do a client's hair and then I'll rinse it off and they'll say, oh, I look brown. I was like, you're not actually brown, because once you get home and look in your bathroom light bathroom mirror under the lights, you will be bright. But it's just because I'm standing in the mirror beside you and it's contrasting. So definitely the consultation process is the most important part of the whole colour. So the other thing with coppers and reds is that we have this wonderful little companion for them to go home with. Your clients will love the colour infused red. So this colour infused red is a shampoo and conditioner. It helps with the colour longevity and it can be used on any of those colours. So if your client's got, I'll put it up the right way, a 10 natural red gold, you are going to get a peachy, soft result. It's not going to go bright red, even though when they put it in their hands, it's going to come out like a 5 double RC. But when it goes over the top of a 10 NRG, It's just going to bring out the warmth, the golds, the reds, the coppers, but not necessarily the reds. So when it goes over a 5 double RC, it's going to pack in more warmth and more red. So you're definitely going to see more red. I love that. Everyone that has red has to go home with one of those. Okay, so that's a wee intro there. Thank you so much for joining. Give us a thumbs up. Tell me where you're from. That would be interesting. And fire away some questions. So behind the camera today, I've got Jessica Groundwater. She is a Sabre technical advisor. So everyone give a big thumbs up for Jess.
Hey guys!
Awesome. So my technique today is called the fiery piebald. So when I was coming up with an idea for a technique, I really wanted to show you something creative, but something that's really current at the moment that's just got a bit more edge to it. So everybody's seeing shags and mullets, and everybody wants them. So a colour like this, a colour technique like this is only going to make the cut pop out a bit more. So Megan, our lovely model today, we have lightened out a wonderful box colour. At Christmas time, she had a wedding. She couldn't get in, of course, because it's Christmassy time. And so she did a little box colour on it, and that is completely fine. So what I have done is cleanse with Blonde Life Lightener, powder lightener, and 10 Vol. And I did a 1:4 ratio, and I added a little bit of shampoo on it, so about 20 grams, 20 mils of that. And so just mix it all up, and then just cleanse through. So as you can see, we already have a lot of dimension through the colour. And I would never make a client feel bad about doing box dye, because they know that when they're coming to you, you're about the skill. That's what you're there for. You're there to make that colour completely transform with a professional result. So Megan's hair feels amazing, even though it's had a cleanse on it, and we cleansed it for about 30 minutes, nice and slow. Before we did the cleanse, we sprayed through Defy Damage Pro Series 1. So short bursts of that. So I'm going to do that today because that's what we prepare our clients with for every colour.
What shampoo did you mix in with your pre-lightening service?
I actually use the K-Pack Clarifying shampoo. I find that it really just helps spread the colour a little bit evenly, but it's also going in there and removing any build-up. Could be environmental build-up, it could be products, and especially environmental, like your client's water. You don't know what their water's like. So around this area we have lots of like hard water, lots of minerals. So short bursts, and always away from your client's face. So about 30 centimetres away, and just short bursts. We have found, since we've had Defy Damage, like, it's just the easiest treatment to use. Your clients instantly feel that treatment. They can feel their hair healthy and shiny and strong. So that's the key things to remember, is it's going to make it 5 times stronger, 80% less breakage. It's also going to help with the colour distribution, so even colour distribution. So if you are somebody who struggles with remembering things, like I had a little concussion, so I've had to teach myself ways to remember important things. So with Defy Damage, I want my hair to be stronger. So I remember I'm going to be stronger times 5, so 5 times stronger. So that's the one I remember first, and then 80% less breakage. Because of course you don't want anyone to have any breakage when you're doing colour. So this will help with the colour integrity, the hair's integrity while we're colouring. Alright, there's our Defy Damage, and then we just spritz them in, and just get a little brush.
If you had some parts of the hair that were like slightly more compromised than others, would you go over that again with a little bit extra Defy Damage, or?
Yes, absolutely. So once I've brushed it through, you can feel if there's some areas that might need a little bit more. And sometimes when when you're doing highlights, of course it's that hairline area where it's finer hair or it's a little bit more fragile. Somebody has previously put a little bit too much lightener in there, or the clients who love to use the hot tools a little bit longer around the front. So you just get your defy damage and you give it another little spritz on that area. But it's not about saturating it so it feels wet. It's about the even distribution. So I can feel as I'm brushing that through that that's going everywhere I need it to go.
And you can sometimes almost see on the hair, you know, if it did need a slight bit more, like, you know, it just kind of tames that frizz down, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, we're back.
We're back. Technology is amazing when it works. Sorry about that, we had a bit of a connection issue. But we should be back in action. Right, so our formulas we've got up on the wall there. Jess is going to have a little zoom. Cool. So give us a thumbs up, guys, if you're there, and throw in some questions if you have any. So what I'm going to do is the piebald. The whole idea behind piebald is irregular shapes. It's about nothing geometric. It's organic shapes, so it's all curves. It's definitely nothing symmetrical. So when you do this, I think splotches. So back in the day, splotches were a negative. Modern splotches are really cool. So especially with like a haircut like Megan's, she's got so much movement in there. So we really want to bring out all of her beautiful ends and beautiful texture that she has in her hair. She's probably due a haircut, but the great thing with these shags is they grow into such beautiful shapes. So we've got a nice curvy fringe. And we haven't got a hard line, so it's nice jiggy-jaggy across through there. So with my cleanse, I haven't been able to get the underneath on her hairline as light as what I've done through the top. And that's going to work in our favour because that's where I'm going to start with my Formula 1, which is the 5RRV and 5-Vol. So when we're doing colour techniques, the easiest way to remember your formulas is the lower the number, the lower the formula number. So like a level 5 is going to be my Formula 1 because it's lower. So my level 7 is my Formula 2. And my level 8 is number 3. So I find that really easy to remember. Try and work out some nice easy ways for you guys as well. Okay, so we're going to look at a nice curvy line. Curvy line. So we're going in through there. And it's going to be quite a section, quite a chunk. Thank you. And today, I'm applying my Lumi Demi using a brush and a bowl. So I do use the applicator bottles. I love them. They're amazing. But just for control, today I need to use a brush and a bowl. All right, guys. The fun begins. So give me a thumbs up if you guys use Lumi Demi in your salon. We just love it. I love already that the consistency of the colour is just so shiny.
I'm so excited to see this colour already.
Yeah. Me too, because I love imagining these things and then, yeah, definitely.
Actually being able to do them is pretty cool.
Yeah, and finding somebody who can wear it.
Yeah.
Alright. So this is, we do not want any transfer of this into the other sections, so I'll show you what I do to avoid that. So I come in through with the roots there and I build it up so that I've got a little bit of lift, and also I haven't had to lie it on the top of the other sections. Megan's got some really short hair down here, so I changed my direction. Instead of going for your traditional diagonals, just bring it into a vertical. And through like that. And as I get down to the bottom around Megan's ear, I'm actually missing those sections out until I bring it all up together. That's it. This is a snug little application with Jess loitering around with the camera. So you do definitely feel clumsier. So there we go, we've got the roots on. And then I just emulsify, work it through with my fingers and apply onto those ends. How are we looking, guys? Is that pretty clean? It seems a shame to cover up this really bright, beautiful cleanse, but we're going to make it pop so much brighter.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome having that depth there.
Can't wait.
You can already see with the contrast, it's going to be awesome.
So piebald, I used to think it was pieball with 2 L's, because I was like, what is this? I'd heard lots of people talk about it in different aspects of things like texture design, so fabric designs and things like that. So piebald was a really trendy texture in fabric a wee while back, and I was like, what is it? So I had to Google it, and it came up with wonderful pictures of animals, horses, dogs, and all those gorgeous black and white. So it tends to be classically black and white. So I'm using the contrast as my inspiration. So here's my wet towel. I've cleansed my tail comb, and also I'm just going to cleanse my hands. So nice and clean, and I'm just going to go around Megan's ear and ensure that she has no colour on her skin. And through there. Section 1.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. So, another thing you can do, just so that you're not worried about colour transfer, is you get out your little foil, or in my case, paper. And so a little paper, and I fold him to fit just in through there and cover that section. Cool. So then I can release that here, and again I'm looking at the natural fall. Where am I going to put my next section? So we did have a plan when we, once we cleansed Megan's hair, I fully thought out exactly where I want to see the colour. So looking at the cleanse, it's brighter through the side. So I don't want to put dark in through there. I'm going to come in over here where it didn't lift up as well. It still lifted up really, really well. And I'm going to do my next section in through the nape. So just on my here. Nice big wiggly line, nice and irregular. And we're going to do something really fun with the remaining 5 double RV. So this is a huge section, and I can't wait to see what this does when it's dry. We're going to have a nice dark section in through the fringe, and then we're going to have this really beautiful depth coming in through behind Megan's ear. Same again. Formula 1. So who out there already has a favourite colour recipe for red? Like when the Joico colours first came in with Lumishine, I was obsessed with 7CC. So when I first started using it, I felt, you know, I really wanted that vibrant orange, and 7CC is where it was at. But then 7RRC came along, and it gave me that really rich, vibrant coppery red. Even though it's a double R. This is squeaky. We talked about this. So just working through the roots nice and quickly.
So with the new like red Lumishine Joico colours, they now have the J5 fade resistant built into them, and they are so awesome now because it just definitely helps like the colour is like so much more protected from the environmental elements, and the red is staying in the hair for a lot longer. So you can get up to 30 shampoos with the J5. So if you're using the proper shampoo and conditioner, we do recommend like K-Pack Colour Therapy or our amazing colour infused red shampoo and conditioner, which is so cool. So it just helps, you know, keep that nice and vibrant and make our reds look so much brighter for a lot longer. So they're not coming into the salon, you know, 5-6 weeks down the track and, you know, really needing a whole colour revamp. You know, they're so much more vibrant, aren't they?
Yeah, the vibrancy stays, and in the past, the coppers and reds, they used to fade so quickly. I was always unhappy. I'm definitely going to say through the early 2000s, because they would go pinky, they would go brown, they would just, yeah, so you, like the client would leave and then you see them in the supermarket and you're like, what happened? And I guess the technology has come a long way for sure, but also our education, learning what base is really essential to getting those reds to hold, getting those coppers to hold. So for me, when I'm doing coppers and coppers that last forever and ever, I like to make sure that my colour underneath has so much yellow and orange in it that it's going to really grab onto that and have something to hold on to. So a lot of the times my client will only just have roots done. And myself personally, I just had mine done, gosh, it's been a little while since I've had the regrowth done. I've just had my roots done. So that you can see is the colour fading through there. And we've just done 7CC with 30 volt, because I like to pack out a little bit more warmth in that.
Do you ever add the intensifiers into your colours, Fliss, to give them a little bit more pop or boldness? Or?
Yes, definitely. So when I do an intensifier, I make sure that I'm not putting it on a really shattered hair, because that's like you're almost going to dilute the vibrancy and the cohesiveness of the colour. So I would put it in when it's like a level 8 and a level 9. But 10s for sure, yeah, so give it a wee bit more punch, but just make sure you're not blowing it out with your oxidants and the 30 volt or anything crazy like that. So with Lumishine, you've got your INRR and your INCC. So they are so good for just popping in a little bit more red or a little bit more copper when you don't actually want to use more of another colour. You're like, actually, I love the 7RRC, I just want a hint more copper. There you go. So you can use 25% of your total mix. So to put that in easy maths, is if you had if you had 40 grams of colour, you put 40 grams of colour and then you put 10 grams of your
Intensifier.
Yeah, intensifiers. Okay, so here's me in a second. want to achieve. So I'm going to use our Formula 3 in this top section, which is 8RR and 5 vol. So coming in with a nice irregular shape section. So sometimes you might want to bring it down further on one side. That's the beauty of this technique, because let's look at my shape. It's all over the place. And through like that. Okay, so because we've got lots of colour banding, I'm going to use my 7RRC on the roots and through this section. So I'll be coming back to this section, so we'll just twist him out of the way until we've applied the rest of the colour. So it's not a lot of sectioning, it's really, really easy.
It's really about making it easy for yourself, isn't it? Rather than having 100 sectioning clips and yeah. Don't want that.
Easy for you with maximum impact. And I don't know about you guys, but I like a really tidy trolley. I like to have all my colours in a sequence. I like to have my clips ready. I've got both my combs here. I always use a tail comb to section. I like nice clean lines. I like to be able to see where I've been. I also find it easier to pick up the section when I'm applying it. Cool. So, right, we're going to speed through this little section here.
What are some of your other favourite copper or red formulations that you like to use on clients?
Wow, there's just so many actually.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of being a redhead myself, is that a lot of people will trust my judgment. So if you are new to red, I would put a little ad and just say models wanted red hair training, and get in loads and loads of different people so you can try different colour recipes on them, and you can look at the colour longevity, what you were able to achieve, how did that work on the complexion, what did the client think? You need to learn all these things so that when you're doing a consultation on your clients, you know what questions to ask them, and also when they come back in, what to look for. So, okay, right, my colour was really, really good, but it washed out to a really goldy kind of copper. Do I want that to happen? Is it beautiful? Does the client like it? It might be a yes, or they might be like, oh, I actually really want it to hang around a little bit longer. So does that mean you drop it down a level? Sometimes yes. Does that mean you add a little bit more base in it? Sometimes yes. So the colour doesn't finish when they leave the salon. And we're lucky enough to live in a small town, so we do bump into people out on the streets. I see a lot of people in the supermarket, and supermarket lighting is the best for showing off your colour in its worst way, but yeah, it definitely gives you a good indication of your colour and how it's lasting. So one of my favourites since it came out is the dimensional, the DDs, 8 NRG.
Yeah, they're awesome, aren't they?
So when this one came out, I was just like talking almost every single person into level 8, just because I just loved it so much. And I feel like there is definitely a red or a copper for every complexion. You know, so when you've got more olive skin, yes, you can suit reds and coppers. It might need to be more of a rose gold. How many people out there are using rose golds on grey hair clients? Like, it's so beautiful. So we've got the option of rose gold and rose wood. So they're essentially still a red base.
And obviously today with Megan, we don't have any natural sparkles through the root there. But if your client did have like some, percentage of grey hair, they can still have their vibrant colours. Just needing to mix in with those colours, you could use your N or your NW or your NWB or your NA, and just with the percentage of however much grey. So if there was 70% grey, you would need to use 70% on your base. But then that way everyone can have all the fabulous bright colours.
One of the colours I really, really love is your NRVs in Lumishine. I have a really edgy client who has greys like all around the hairline in traditional pattern, and we used to do really, really bright reds on her, and I thought, well, you're going to be perfect to try this on without using any base. So let's go dangerous. And I took loads and loads of photos. I was so impressed. I didn't use any base. I was so impressed with the colour fade, but also how well that colour took. So usually it would be translucent. It would be pinky. You wouldn't see the true colour reflect. And I'm not telling you to go crazy and try this on every grey hair client, but I am telling you that sometimes we don't want to do the blanket colour of the grey. We want to see a little bit more pop with those warm colours, and you can actually trust Lumishine to cover it and still make it vibrant.
I can't see the time.
Yeah. So here in New Zealand we have a wonderful sunny climate. Just kidding, we've got a really nothing compared to the Australians. So, but we do have something to be aware of. We have our sun is the harshest in the world in summer, and why that is because of the sun's orbit. We actually orbit the sun closer in summer. That's a real sciencey, geeky thing for you guys. But it also explains why our colour fade is so bad in summer in New Zealand, and also why our burn time is bad. And so there's so many people out there who would always use a sunscreen, but they really need to be using it as well on their hair.
That's why it's awesome though with our Lumishine colours, because they do help protect it from the UV and those harmful rays to a certain extent. But yeah.
And we're outdoors people, Aussies and Kiwis, we just love the outdoors. We love our swimming, we just even love walking outside. So we need to be protecting our hair from those elements, and especially with the bright hair. So I really love Defy Damage Shield. It's something that when that first came out, I loved the initial feeling of how silky it left the hair. But then when the client came back in, I could still feel that silkiness because they're using it, they're protecting their hair, and it literally is a shield. So really love that guy. Okay, so I'm just working in vertical sections around Megan's hair, milking the colour through, roots to ends. And I can't wait to show you later how well that banding is going to disappear. That's something I really love with Joico colours, is how beautiful and consistent the coverage is. Alright. So you can see I'm just going through on an angle now. This is going to be my last section of full coverage on this side, so roots to ends. You can see with my paper, it's just holding all of that colour safely out of the way of my level 5. Get a little bit through there. So something you should suggest to your clients to convert them into beautiful peaches and apricots is when they come in and they are bored with their blondes, looking at toning their hair into these yummy coppers and apricots and peaches that we have available. So 10 NRG, which is in Lumishine. I love that colour. It's just so yummy. And to pop a little bit of a violet in it, it just really sends it over the edge. It takes that real brightness and just cools that off. So. With the piebald, again, it's irregular sections, so I can't really go, okay, I'm doing a hot press one. I'm just working my way around Megan's head, almost like a clock. And in that way I can see everywhere I've been. I'm still considering the natural fall, like where is that section going to lie? Because in my head I'm planning my next step, always. So when we come through the nape, we're going to do something really fun.
You can already see that colour's already going to be popping, giving it that beautiful shine.
Yeah.
Bit of depth in there.
Yeah, so the roots look nice and deep. And then it's just gone so yummy and bright on the level 8 and those random level 6s in there. But that's why you would choose a technique like this. Like if Megan was to wear her hair beautifully straight all the time, this may not work. You know, unless she owns the fact that it's going to be all piebald and irregular and fun. But I just think you want to really embrace natural texture. A lot of our clients are doing air dry now, so they want to shag, they want to just put a little bit of zero heat in it, and they just want to walk out the door. They're not blow drying their hair. So they're using their natural texture, natural wiggles and waves. So creating a look like this with colour is going to enhance the haircut. Okay, so there's the fun stuff down there. So the next thing we're going to do is called shadow tip. So I would do a shadow tip because I want to actually bring out more of the colour. So I'm looking through there and I'm going, oh, I really want to see more copper. So I'm going to look at which ends I could add a little bit more depth to, just to pop out that copper. So I'll quickly go through the roots. What about you, Jessica? Have you got a favourite copper?
Oh, yes, I've got a few. I do love 7CC, but now that we have the 7RRC, it's definitely up there with one of my faves.
It's a game changer.
It is, but I also love using my, like, say, 7NC with 7NWB, just to create like quite a natural kind of, I really love that, especially for your clients that are a little bit more nervous to, go into that kind of brighter copper to begin with. It's a really good starting point. But yeah, it's definitely, I feel like we're doing a lot more coppers and reds now. A lot of people used to be so frightened, stylists probably and clients, to do it, but I almost could think it could be the new blonde.
Definitely, definitely. And like with coppers and reds, there's so many yummy words to describe like the colour. So like spiced pumpkin. I love spiced pumpkin. So you just can imagine what a spiced pumpkin would look like, for sure. And so the burnt auburn. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's another good one.
Definitely.
So if you have any favourite words or that you like to name your coppers, please drop them in the comments. And definitely drop in some formulas that you've tried that you really, really love. This is about sharing, so I'm sharing my technique. I would love you guys to share what you do with it. So please send us some photos, tag us in it. I'd love to see what you do. So this technique also looks super cool with colour intensity.
Yeah.
So I love working with colour intensity. I love working with colour intensity. This technique is so good. Obviously you want to pre-lighten the hair nice and cleanly to a level that is going to work with your desired colour. So if you've noticed in the colour intensities now, on the tube there is the desired level, and that's a really, really good little tool. Looking for that. Okay, so I'm just working through on my mids. Just working mids. And this consistency of the colour is so good for spreading through. I don't need to put so much on my brush. Nothing is on Megan's cape. It is so clean. I decided to use plastic today, which goes against my absolute core of a sustainable person. But just to show you where my sectioning is so it doesn't get lost in the black cape, this plastic cape will go in the wash and I will fold it and reuse it after it's dry. So that's the same with the paper, not foil. They are compostable, so they go in with your compost and they break down over time, and eventually they break down and look like eggshells. So that's pretty cool. They were designed by a woman in Dunedin who was just so overwhelmed with the waste that's in hairdressing. Alright, so we've got our sections through there. We're not 100% covered up and through that section, and there's a reason. So I'll just quickly clean my hands while Jess does some, lovely panning. Give Jess a thumbs up with her camera work. She's pretty ace. Okay, this is my paddle. Here is the paddle. So, now we are going to select, I reckon this little guy down here. Pop the paddle in underneath a section, and then I'm going to work through my depth. As you can see with it melting in through there, how yummy is that going to be?
It's going to be awesome.
Right, so 7 down to a 5.
I've just got a wee question here for you, Fliss, from Craig. When using your colour intensity on clients, what is your rebooking time frame? Every 2, 3 or 4 weeks?
Well, it depends on what you're after. I kind of like to see the colour a bit more frequently. So with the colour intensities, like it depends on the condition of the hair, how it's going to fade as well. But of course, you're going to use Defy Damage and try and get the best longevity possible. But I like to rebook them within 6 weeks. I think that these people are paying for beautiful colours and they want them to look really, really good. So we book in like a toner service. So say you've got a client that lightens out to level 10 and she does like a beautiful rose on top. That rose sometimes fades quite quickly, sometimes it doesn't, and it's different every single time, even if you've been doing her hair for a year. So she might need a toning service within 3 to 4 weeks. But it might just be a quick little tone. You might just be able to...
And do you find with using Defy Damage on your clients now that that's actually making the colours last a lot longer? Or
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So we try and use Defy Damage on every colour client, and like it's really, really good, even just on your tints. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so I really want to see more copper coming in through here. So I'm back to Formula 2, which is R7, RRC and 20 volt. So why did I choose 20 volt when it's already lighter, when it's already a level 8? I just really find with coppers and the reds, it's safer to go that little bit higher with your developer in some cases. But of course I wouldn't put a 30 on Megan's ends because we've cleansed it out. So if she came in with a natural level 8, yes, I might put 30 vol in it just to punch it out a little bit brighter. So a little bit, got another 5RR. These paddles are so much fun to work with. And if you want to milk the colour through with your thumb and blur the lines, you can do that. You can just put your thumb on it and work it through. So you can see already it's going to be popping. All that colour is going to be popping. Another thing I really would love you guys to challenge yourself with is copper and red money pieces. So we've seen so many beautiful blonde money pieces. Why aren't you doing blush? Why aren't you doing apricots and doing peaches and doing really beautiful soft like red violets? That would look so amazing on your client's face. So give those a crack. I'd love to see them. And share the formula. So a lot of hairdressers share their formulas, and I really, really love that we are in an area where we share everything. This is going to be all copper. Because a hairdresser said this once, and I've never forgotten it. Actually, Duncan and I were sitting beside each other when she said this. Everybody cooks the same, so cooks differently, so nobody cooks the same. So if you think about when you're baking, the cookies that you make versus your friend's cookies are totally different. If it's me baking, they're not going to be great. Okay, so this is going to be our lovely level 8 double R all in through here, and it's going to fall all over the 7. So it looks like a crazy little tuft, and I can't wait to see what it does. It's going to be awesome for the texture. So we're going to work through the roots. And when I cleansed Megan's hair today, I didn't go straight down to the roots. I could have. I would have got a nice even lift for sure, but I didn't want to irritate her scalp. She doesn't need that cleanse to go all the way through. Cleansing colours out is definitely something that takes practice and experience. So now we've got a razor with the colour intensity. You know, we used to try and break down direct dyes with bleach because we had no other options, and that was, you know, I'm talking like 8 years ago. And actually when Megan did a wonderful experimental colour at home, and it was actually really amazing. It went like lilac, was it? Yeah, it was like lavenders and greens, and what had happened is that sorry, Megan's got giggles now, is that it went, wherever there was yellow, it went green, of course. So the purple went over it and it just went green. And so then us being little babies and not knowing that you don't put powdered lightener, this is like, I'm talking years and years ago, over it. Of course we started lightening it out with a cleanse, and it just went neon green. Which is fine, because we had peacock. So we actually took Megan's hair, colour intensity peacock, and it was so beautiful that in 8 weeks Megan came in and with a regrowth, and she said, what do I do? Because the rest of it's still green. And it lasted really well. So I know Megan's got really healthy hair, but we don't push it. We make sure that the colours that we choose are really, really healthy for Megan's hair, because it's only going to look better when the hair's got integrity.
I've just got another question from Craig. We're doing apricots in our shop at the moment. Do you have a sneaky formula that you're doing at the moment for apricot?
Oh, yeah. So in Vero, 10G with 8RC or with INC. So I love, it depends on what I want to see. So if I want like a reddy, peachy apricot, then I'll put the RC in with the 10G. Or I'll use a 10B with a RC. And then that way it's just got a little bit of coolness to it, so it starts off with a violet, but you're of course putting a red copper in it, so it makes it beautiful and peachy and apricot. I'm definitely always going to try and talk somebody into an apricot or a copper, and especially greys. Oh, I'd love it. And just slices of apricot, looks great.
Brings a lot more warmth to their skin tone as well, like it can actually make them look more alive.
Yeah.
And really, yeah, can look great.
So there's our yummy little tuft. And that's the Lumishine Demi 8RR 5-volt and through like that. So now we'll process this for 35 minutes. We'll rinse Megan off and we'll do some beautiful photos. But I'm going to use the Pro Series 2 to fight damage. I just love how instantly it just makes it feel so soft and supple. So we'll pop that on and through there. But like as you can see, Megan's hair is in such good condition for something that's been cleansed. It looks just so awesome. We've got a bit of colour transfer there. Just milk that out. And that's because it's slipped. So, just to recap, thank you guys so much for having me with you today in your living rooms or in your salon downstairs, wherever you are. And so Megan and I and Jess would love to thank you so much for having us. And if you've got any more questions, please just send them through, write them in the comments. I'll be checking the video later. So in overtime, you're welcome to just pop any comments on here.
Thanks so much, Fliss. We can't wait to see the end result. It's very exciting. But yeah, everyone just keep watching and we'll show you the finished results soon.
And if you're really struggling with your coppers, you should be reaching out to your technical advisors. They're there to help you. There's loads of tutorials and stuff online, but these are Joico specific. So you're going to have, your technical advisor is going to actually problem solve what you need. So instead of just getting it online, so reach out. Jess is one of ours for South Island, so we're very lucky to have her here. Yes, and thanks so much again for having us.
Awesome. Thanks, Fliss.
Matiwa.